As I understand it, you've got like two Alamiya degrees. Instead of like just going simply with one, you had to go and get two. One's from Ibrahim College, another one's from As-Salam Institute, right? And even now, you're doing a master's degree at SOAS in Islamic law, right? So just tell me, obviously you're a mother, you've got children, mashallah, and a husband. And how does someone like you, who's busy with obviously looking after her kids and her home and all of that, get 2 degrees, and become an alim?
I think I got married very young.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was 19 when I got married, so I had just finished my A levels. But also I had been in Egypt for 2 years, so I'd learnt Arabic, and I just knew it was the right time to get married, and I had met my husband, alhamdulillah. So I think what happened at that point was I really wanted to get married, and so when I was having the marriage negotiations, the tea parties. I would say to my husband, and my dad helped me with this, with the communication side of it. I asked him, would he support my Islamic studies? Okay, because that's something long term that I really wanted to complete. And my husband was really supportive of that. In fact, my Islamic studies is part of my marriage contract. So I do think that really helped, in the sense that it was more like an honorable mention rather than like a condition or something like that, but it was something that my husband, that I had mentioned up front, when we were getting married. My husband was really supportive of that. Of course, when you're 19, you don't realize that when you have children, you're not just going to carry on as normal, things are going to change. Things are going to change. But one of the things I remember my husband asking me in our marriage meetings, he asked, because I think he could see that my studies really meant a lot to me. So he said, what about children and family? He wanted to get, I think, an idea of what my priorities were, and I think even from then, I did say to him, look, family is priority. Family is the priority. And so when my children came along, I really did devote my time to my children, especially in their early years. I was very much focused on motherhood. And that meant that usually I know people, in their 20s graduating, right? In their 20s, and they might be doing their further studies as well, and they might delay marriage. For me, it was kind of the other way around. Yeah, so I got married young. I had my first child when I was 21. And so I think I would say I spent the strongest years of my life as a mother, and really focused on that goal. But at the same time, that didn't mean that I completely stopped all of my studies or, my interests. It's just that I prioritized my children. So one thing that I always say to sisters, when they say to me, especially when they just have children, they say, how do you seek knowledge, or how do you do things, other things, when you have children? The first thing I say to them is, look, family is your finest project. Your family is a project, and it's worthy of your attention. But my example, from my experience, what I did, for example, while I was literally feeding my babies, right, literally breastfeeding, I would be listening to lectures in Arabic. Okay, I think I listened to Arabic lectures over and over again to improve my Arabic. Also in the evenings when my baby was asleep, I would write articles into Islamic magazines. So what I say is that even though I wasn't in a formal institution during those years, what I did do use other means of studying. And I think we're living in an amazing age, you know, where really, apart from discipline, there's nothing stopping you from seeking knowledge in multiple ways. But then obviously when my children got to a certain age, and opened London, I could see that was my to go to an institute to study with scholars again. But even then, I think, like, for example, with Ibrahim College, I went there, I actually negotiated with them because, again, the way that their Alimiya degree was designed was for a single young person, you know, pretty much, you know, who literally had from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. free, right? And that's the sort of students that were going there. And that's not me, right? Because I had children to pick up from school. So I turned up there and I had my, what you could call elevator pitch ready, right? As to why they should take me on and why they should change their program to fit around me. But at the same time, I said to them, look, I told them what I would do with the knowledge, what I aimed to do, and how, you know, I could, if they were a bit more flexible with me, it would really make a difference and I would be able to complete these studies. So what happened was they agreed for me to do 3 days a week, and to do like up to 2 o'clock. So I could always go home to pick up my kids from school. That meant quite a lot of kind of looking at the timetable and making sure that over the years I covered all the subjects that needed to be covered, right? So it took a bit of organizing, but at the same time, it meant that I was not neglecting what I consider to be my most important role, you know? Although it took me longer than the average student to complete my Alimiya, right? It nearly double the time, I would say. And that in itself takes a lot of patience because, you know, you're seeing people whiz past you. That's what it feels like.